Hello and welcome to Track by Track Reviews. I'm Rory Sullivan, in today to talk about the new Kanye West album. Oh, and this is Sam May, but that's not really important.
Like you didn't know that already.
Yeah, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. Or Mubitif. And yeah, I mean, I'm not really going to introduce Kanye West. You should know who he is.
Yeah, if you don't, where have you been?
Yeah, he's been all over, obviously interrupting Taylor Swift, all that shit, and because of all that stuff, you either love him or hate him.
Right.
I'm kind of, at times he can be kind of a dick, but, overall I like him. So, I don't know. The first album I heard from him was Graduation.
Same here.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if that was the first time I heard from him, but that's my favorite album by him.
808s and Heartbreak is the only other one I've heard.
That's
Besides
the only.
it was like,
That's the only album I've never listened to actually, because I heard it sucked.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of meh.
Everybody probably knows that Pitchfork gave this the fabled 10.0.
Yeah.
Which is the first they've given a new release since Yankee Hotel Foxtrot.
A much better album.
Much better album. Of course, Pitchfork isn't the god of music, but, they do have a lot of influence, so...
Okay, the first track on the album, Dark Fantasy, I think is a pretty good opener. I don't really dig, the vocal intro.
No,
I could take
really
it or leave
cheesy.
it.
Upon first listen of this album, I was like, oh, dear God.
This could suck. I'd say really the best part of this song is, the sample he uses.
Yeah. Have you listened to the original song?
No, I have not.
I think he pitched up. It's one of the best uses of a sample I've ever heard.
Who is it?
Some unknown guy from I can't remember.
We should know, but
but just it's just, you find yourself singing this to yourself, just at random moments. It's so uplifting. Can we get much higher?
Yeah. It's super catchy. And as far as the rapping goes, it's it's okay. There's some funny moments.
Yeah, there's some
clever wordplay.
Yeah,
of course, the Urkel line.
Right.
It's probably the one most people know about.
But, I should preface this with I'm not a big fan of hip-hop. So,
I kind of am.
He's more of a fan than I am. We should throw that in there just for reference point.
Yeah. There you go. So you know where we're coming from. All right, the next song, Gorgeous, featuring Kid Cudi, and who else is featured on this track? Raekwon. I'm not too big a fan of Kid Cudi.
He
did
a track with Best Coast over the summer that I thought was pretty good.
Absolutely horrible. I didn't hear it. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, it was okay.
His voice does sound a little... It sounds like he's coming through a telephone, sort of.
Yeah, megaphone, sort of speaker sounding vocal effect. It's just I guess he added that to make it go better with the gritty sort of...
Yeah, it's got the guitar riff is really what leads it.
But really, it just makes it more difficult to understand what he's saying, which I feel is kind of mostly the point.
I really didn't think he was that hard to understand, and once again, I'm not too much of a fan of his rapping, but once again, some funny stuff. He mentioned the Fish Sticks episode.
Choke a South Park writer with a fish stick.
Yeah.
And also, he says, got caught with 30 rocks. The cop looked like Alec Baldwin.
I didn't even catch that.
Which is funny. Admittedly, he's not the best rapper
I definitely appreciate him way more for his production.
Yeah, and
the melodies and all that.
And his use of samples. But every once in a while, he'll say something pretty clever, and this song's got some good examples of that. And Kid Cudi does a good job, I think, too.
I agree.
Yeah.
The next song, Power, features a sample from one of my favorite albums I love, In the Court of the Crimson King by King
21st
Crimson.
Century Schizoid Man. This is probably one of my favorite songs on the album.
I like this song. I actually, the sample is surprisingly probably not my favorite part of the song.
Really?
In fact, when I first heard it, it seemed really abrupt.
Not to me. I completely disagree with you.
Maybe it's because I've listened to the song so many times, and when he cuts it off, I'm in my head filling in the blank.
Yeah.
So maybe it kind of bothers me there. But I really like the vocal. They're not really saying any words, just the.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, and that continues throughout the whole song in the background. Yeah. And you'd think that wouldn't be good, but it works really well with the beat. This song has just got so much intensity. I find myself bobbing my head.
Absolutely.
This song. And I just love it how the sample just busts in. You hear the guitar crunches, the down there, and then you're just waiting for it, and then all of a sudden it just cuts off. And I actually love it how he did that. I'm glad that he just cut it off and let the sample play itself, because I think it really shows the intensity of what he was trying to do. And I also think the lyrics of the song are kind of cool too. no man should have all that power.
Yeah, do you have the power to let go of power?
Kind of a similar message to the Yeah 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 song by the Flaming Lips.
I was just thinking that. Yeah. Okay, the next song is just an interlude to the track All the Lights.
It's just a pointless song of the whole album.
What, the interlude?
Yeah, like why? Okay, I understand interludes.
You know what? I think
if you're listening to like an indie album, but like a fucking like piano interlude on a hip hop album, that's just stupid to me.
Well, I actually think it's really pretty. It's just piano and strings. So I mean, it does sound a little disjointed, but overall, onto All the Lights, I actually really surprisingly liked this.
We're just gonna seamlessly flow into that.
Yeah.
Okay, that works.
I mean, what did you think of All the Lights? Because it surprised me how much this song will just like pop into my head.
Bits of it I like. I can't stand Nicki Minaj. Like seriously, she's just fucking annoying throughout this whole album. To me, this track is kind of just packed way too much with guests. It's clearly like supposed to be like the radio hit of the album.
It definitely stands out as that, but then again, like, when it leads up to that horn part, that it just got me at the very beginning, and then when the beat comes in, it doesn't sound like a radio drum beat. It just doesn't sound like hip-hop pop, like drums.
Right. Okay, yeah. Well, this song's okay, I guess, but to me, I find myself getting a little bored, and I'm like, why am I listening to it?
It does go a little long. The next song, Monster, I think we both kind of agree is
fucking awful.
Well, I don't think it's fucking awful,
really?
But I think it's one of the weaker songs on the track.
I think it's probably terrible. You know, I really wanted to give this song a chance, honestly. Basically, this whole song is just like a 6-minute repetition.
This is definitely more on the hip-hop side of Kanye, and like I said, I don't like his rapping that much, so it doesn't really appeal to me in any way. Because when you take away the great production hooks, what's left for Kanye for me if I don't like his rapping that much? All right, the next song, So Appalled, is also one of my least favorites. This is really the worst stretch of the album, Monster and So Appalled in a row.
Yeah.
And they're both really long.
Yeah, they're both, I don't know why. To me, for somehow, this song is actually listenable for some reason.
I like it better than Monster.
I like it a lot better than Monster. It does sort of follow the same songwriting pattern.
It really is more on the side of hip-hop, and once again, I just don't care about
I think the thing that's redeeming about this song is that the beat's a little bit more interesting, and the strings. Sort of like dark sort of synth. Okay. One hand in the air if you don't really care.
Which, by the way, I hate that.
It is stupid. It is stupid.
The next song on the album, Devil in a New Dress, featuring Rick Ross, is probably one of my favorite songs on the album. Absolutely. I love the female vocals in the background.
Yeah, I really love that, too. That really makes the song for me, I think.
Yeah. I love the chorus, too. I don't really could take or leave Rick Ross's appearance.
It's really not... It's like, okay, it's a hip-hop album. You got to have guests. Appearances, I guess. So, I mean, whatever.
The next song in the album is one of the biggest songs, Runaway, and probably my favorite. I think it...
Probably the best song.
This may be totally, like, overstating something, but it might be, like, the most genuine song he's ever done. Like, so many songs on this album are super cocky.
Right.
In this song, you actually feel sympathy for Kanye West.
You do.
And actually, when I heard this song, I was like... Because up till then, I was like, Kanye West is a total dick, and I heard this song, and I was like... You know what? I think he's just not that bad of a guy who lets his passion sort of get the best of him.
Yeah, definitely. To me, this song, it's 9 minutes, but it doesn't feel 9 minutes at all. I know. This song is amazing.
The piano is great, and he actually does some singing that I really like.
Yeah,
it's really emotional and intense.
You know, I mean, some people argue that Kanye isn't the best singer, but...
He's really not, but for some reason this song...
Yeah, it's not even really a hip-hop song.
That
might be one of the reasons why I love it so much.
Maybe.
But just the piano, the
beat with it,
the chorus, just everything about this.
I even like the video. All right, the next song, "Hell of a Life." I really liked this song the first couple times I heard it, and then I just slowly started liking it less and less. I really like the guitar part. And the drum beat and everything, but I don't know. It's like this song right after Runaway, and he's talking about like falling in love with a porn star and pussy and religion is all they need. It's like what happened? It's just kind of in the middle for me. It's definitely catchy, but I mean the content of it is just kind of.
It's a good song. I can't really talk about the lyrics of the music. So
You're not
why am
allowed
I
to.
even here if I can't talk about it?
The next song, The Blame Game, featuring John Legend. I really like this song. I'm not sure how you feel
It's a
about
good
it.
song, does some good singing.
Yeah, that's the thing. People who don't like Kanye West singing can enjoy the good singing of John Legend.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, Chris Rock appears at the end.
Yeah,
I
which
mean,
is funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny. He talks about like having sex with some chick, and it's hilarious. He says motherfucker about 50 million times. Overall, I like the song. The next song on the album, Lost in the World, is one of the tracks featuring Bon Iver that I really love.
Yeah, and it's not typical Bon Iver. I can't.
It's Bon Iver or Bon Iver. I say Bon Iver just because it rolls off the tongue.
And it's auto-tuned. I guess Bon Iver's auto-tuned, and it sounds good.
Yeah. I remember thinking this is one of the few instances where I actually like the auto.
Yeah, 99. I feel like 99.9.
I actually think this is like the only time I can remember.
This is a really energetic song.
Once again, I think you like it a lot because it's definitely leans more towards the non-hip hop side.
Yeah.
But definitely very melodic.
Definitely. You're right. You know, it's totally right. The two least hip hop songs on this album are my favorite songs.
The last song on the album is "Who Will Survive in America." It's not even really so much a song.
I believe it's pronounced Gil. I think it's Guile Heron.
No, it features Gil Scott-Heron, and who's really kind of gotten a second wind with his career.
Yeah, this is. I think I actually looked up. This is a sample from his first album or second album, I think.
Is it?
Yeah. It's just like a nice closing track, some cool beats.
It's really just Gil Scott-Heron doing his thing with spoken word.
There's some Kanye production.
Well, yeah,
it's not just bare bones.
Yeah.
Gil Scott-Heron.
But I mean, that's what I tend to pay the most attention to, because I like Gil Scott-Heron.
Okay, and so it's a good way to wrap up the album. And it's interesting that he ends the album with "Who Will Survive in America."
Who will survive in America?
Who will survive in America? Who? Charlie Otis.
I'm so glad I'm getting this on camera. That's the album. Sam, what did you think of it?
Okay. Yeah, the 10.0, completely unwarranted. Completely. Like, don't you agree?
I agree.
Yeah.
They're not the only ones. I mean, Rolling Stone gave it a perfect score, too. People seem to forget that.
This is getting, mind-boggling reviews.
What was the score on Metacritic, too?
It was like 100.
No, it was like
97.
It was pretty ridiculous.
It was like, what? This album kind of went like this for me. I was like, oh, okay. I can see maybe an 8.5. Like, this is kind of reigniting my interest in Kanye and hip-hop, and maybe I'll get into... I really like the use of his samples and all that. But to me, it's just really disjointed, like chunks of good songs, then bad songs, then, okay songs. I'm just going to... It's just kind of average. And I think Graduation is a far superior album. This... I think I'm going to have to give it a solid 7.
All right, well, I mean, for me, this album was a total surprise because I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. And, I like Graduation. I think it's better than this. I mean, like I said, I'm not that big of a fan of his rapping, so when the production isn't that interesting, it leaves those tracks a lot to be desired. And tracks like that are So Appalled and Monster, which definite skips. And one of the things about this album, you were saying that Graduation is nice and concise. This album is long.
It's
really
way
long.
too long.
Some of the songs, like Runaway, it's great because it's a good song. But if you don't like the song, you're not going to want to sit in for 7 or 8 minutes of listening to it.
There's like at least 4 or 5 6-minute tracks.
Yeah, and some of those songs, you've gotten everything out of it by 3 minutes in. So what's the point?
Yeah, it's just...
But, I mean, really, the songs that I like on here, I absolutely love. Devil in a New Dress is great. Runaway is great. Lost in the World is great. Dark Fantasy is great. Power is great. There's a lot of really good songs.
I should add that Dark Fantasy is an amazing opener.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good songs. I give this an 8. But, yeah, I mean, that's the album. Like I said, leave comments. Don't be too hard on us.
Yeah.
We're so delicate. All right, so, yeah, for track-by-track reviews, I'm Roy Sullivan. For Sam May. See you next week.